So welcome to the Fermented Homestead. Today is the day that I wanted to go ahead and bring you along, update you on some of the processes and progress that we've been making in the garden, and just show you some of the things that we've been doing. It's been raining a lot, and I just really haven't had the time to actually bring you guys along and show you everything that I'm doing. So I thought that I would just kind of show you everything that I've been up to. So the first thing that I did, this whole patch here was all grass. This was all just like that down there, and I went ahead and I covered it. I think you can see it here. Yeah, it covered it with double layer of cardboard, and then I covered it with hay. It wasn't completely hay. Some of it had some little bits of grass or wheat or whatever the straw was made out of, and you can kind of see there's little bunches here and there, but nothing too major. It's not really a big deal whatsoever. But one thing I wanted to show you guys, I'm super excited about the tulip bed. If you guys remember, let me make sure you guys can get up close and see. There are just a ton of tulips and daffodils. I think these are probably daffodils for the most part right now, but just kind of a mixture of both of these all throughout the bed. And you can also see we got some little bunny action going on. So that is in my net plans for the coming couple of weeks, is to go ahead and figure out how I'm going to fence all of this off, because I'm going through a lot to actually get this thing to be to grow, and so I don't want little bunnies and little deer to come along and ruin all of my plans. So I've kind of just been doing what I'm able to do when I'm able to do it. Haven't really had a clear vision as to what that is actually going to be, but I think I finally settled on what I'm going to do for this particular garden season. We're not going to be able to actually get the forest logged until next year, or actually until it's too late rather to be able to plant. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to happen, but it's not going to happen in time for us to be able to actually log it and to also be able to clear garden space. So I've just decided to make do with what I actually have available to me. And currently that is this backyard. There's a couple things that I'm a little bit apprehensive about. And the first one, I think you guys already know, is that I don't know if this was sprayed with anything. And so that made me a little bit nervous, but I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to plow forward. I'm just going to do what I can do. And so needless to say, this area here is going to be this area here. And I'm going to bring it all the way down here, all the way to the edge where that dish is down there. This is all going to be sprawling things. This is all going to be like winter squashes and things like that that are not going to be in an actual bed. Okay? And then another thing that I'm going to do, I'm actually in the process of doing it now. I'm just about to start it. And that is to build this whole area out here. I measured it, because you can see it's at a bit of a slant, but the flat kind of area that we can actually use for this is about 58 feet long and 28 feet wide before it really starts to dip off to where it wouldn't really be practical to use. So I'm just going to start building pallet beds. That's kind of my plan. And I got a bunch of pallets drying off in my garage right now. I'm just about to start, and I'm going to take you guys over there and show you what I'm going to do with that. Just one bed at a time. And I'm going to do it hugelkultur style, because that just makes the most sense with our forest that we have here. I can fill the bed probably halfway full of some decomposed and rotted material, and we're just going to build these beds one at a time. I'm probably going to do them, I'm planning on doing them 12 feet long by about 4 feet wide, and then I'm going to build one of those. I'm going to bring it out here and I'm going to lay it out so that, because I need to get an idea of how everything is going to set with the lay of the land and with the slope that I have here. So we're going to go inside. We're going to try and tear apart enough pallets to get one bed made, and then we're going to go from there and see what we can do. So come along, I'll show you what I'm doing. Hoping to complete one of them this weekend. I want to use that for garlic. My dad gave me a bunch of seed garlic when I was over there, and I want to get it in the ground hopefully this weekend. So I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know what shape it's going to take, but I'm going to try. You can see here, there's 2 pallets here. No, there's not. There's 3 pallets here We just walked by these 2 pallets. There's 3. Trying to make sure I can see, you guys can see. 3 pallets there, 1 here, and there's a bunch more over there. Those ones there, I think there's 3 or 4 of them over there. Those ones over there, and then these 2 here are still pretty wet. They're wet to the point that I probably... Actually, I don't know if they come apart better wet or dry. We'll find out today, and I'll let you know. So I'm going to try them both ways. But several ways to break down a pallet, and I've done it many times in the past. The quickest way to do it is with one of those, I don't know what you call them, a jigsaw, whatever. I think they're called the jigsaw. And then a circular saw. You just take the circular saw and you cut off the edges here all the way down, and then all the way down, and then you take a jigsaw and you come in here, and I don't know if the term is a jigsaw, forgive me if I'm wrong, but and you just stick the blade in here, and it just a sawzall. Maybe that's the word. Is that it? A sawzall. But anyways, I'm gonna give up on trying to figure out what that's called. And so anyways, and then you take and you insert the blade, and it cuts all the nails off. So, but what I'm going to try and do, you can see over there, yes, right there, I have a bit of a small crowbar, and I'm going to try and pry these apart without breaking them. If they start to break, then I'm going to at least cut the edges off here. I kind of just want to get these as long as possible. So we'll see how that actually goes, and I'll show you what I do. So I got this pallet pulled apart. It's definitely not your normal pallet. All it had on it was just a bunch of these 1x4s, I think they are. And they're all about just a bit over 3 feet, and then 3 of them that were 4 feet. And those were just the 3 that had run along the bottom, and this, you know, all the way down. So that's what we ended up with that. And then there's a bunch of these little block things here. And most pallets have like a bunch of the 1x4s. They'll have some like 1x3s or 1x4s, and then a bunch of 1x6s, and then some 2x4s. So this one is definitely not your normal pallet, but I did get it pulled apart, and it took me about an hour. And I would say that this is enough for like one of the 4-foot sideboard. I want to have to do some of the longer ones for that. And I'm probably going to be doing these about 9 inches to a foot. So if I do 3 of these, it's going to be about a foot, almost a foot. So I might end up doing it 4 boards deep, but really I'm probably going to do three boards deep. So this is going to be anywhere between one side wall and one end wall, probably, maybe just a little bit more. So we got quite a bit of work ahead of me, and I'm just going to pull these pallets apart. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that you were able to see how I was doing it. All I used were these tools here, just a dinky little hammer. I couldn't find my regular hammer, so we're stuck with this dinky little one, and then a pry bar. And that's all I did to take all of these apart, and it worked on this one. I don't know if it'll work with all of them. I lost 1 board. Let me show you. It's over here on my lathe here. You can see I lost 1 board, and that was it. All the rest of these should be useful and usable, rather. And so we're just gonna go ahead and tear apart as many of these pallets as I possibly can. So I've done 1 more pallet since the one that I showed you guys, and I found that just buzzing them with the circular saw all the way down, it just it does speed it up slightly, but mostly it reduces the risk of cracking the boards, which is what I'm trying to prevent. I had a few of them crack, and so I just want to prevent cracking. So that's what I'm gonna do. And then so all I do is I just buzzed it all the way down the side. And then I just use that. I just use the crowbar. we're just getting started on day 2 of breaking down these pallets. Once I get this one broken down, I should have enough and a little bit extra to do 12-inch beds, but I think I'm going to do taller than that. So we're just going to keep breaking these down. And as you can see off in the corner over here, I finally gave up, and I just went to the store and I bought the most inexpensive reciprocating saw that you can find. I think that's what it's called. Yes, reciprocating saw. I think I was correct on that yesterday. So, went and bought one of these, and I bought some blades to actually go with it. I bought the most inexpensive one. I don't have a good brand of any kind of cordless tools, and all of the, I checked all of them. I went to Lowe's, I went to Home Depot. I kind of just did some scanning. I was planning on starting to invest in a tool array, and I just couldn't do it. It was so expensive. And so I just got the corded version of this. I think it was $60, and then I also got the blades to go with it, so I should be able to just plow through all of these. As you can see, I finally gave up on trying to pull these out, and I just ripped them with my circular saw. So we're going at this the most efficient way possible, because I'm realizing how many pallets I have to actually break down to get one of these beds. So my time is more valuable than that. I'm sorry. Like, I just kind of had to do the basic evaluation and like how much stuff I actually have to do, or just invest $60 in a saw. So that's the route I'm taking, and I'm just going to go ahead and bang all this out. So now that I kind of have a system down, I kind of have a pretty good understanding of what I'm doing breaking down these pallets. I'm going to go ahead and time myself and see how much of a time savings it is to have the jigsaw. When I was just doing the circular saw and trying to pry off these centerpieces, which are almost impossible to do, it took me probably about I want to say about 2 hours a piece, maybe a little bit less, but right around 2 hours a piece. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to break these down. I'm going to time myself, see just how long it takes, and then we'll kind of go from there. So starting out, 53 seconds. So 17:24, so that took me about 16 and a half minutes. And from here, it's kind of just my preference whether or not I want to actually take off all these screw heads, the ones that are in here, or if I want to leave them. And then also same with this, if I want to use this 2x4s, then I will pop these pieces off. So, I mean, you're looking at probably maybe, I don't know, another 10 minutes or so. So, I mean, a half an hour compared to 2 hours at least. And it's much easier work as well. It's not so frustrating, and you don't have to worry about the boards cracking or, you know, any of that kind of stuff. It's much easier. So that was well worth the investment of the $16 or however much that was. So, 16 minutes. That was well worth the $60, basically $70 that I put into it. So if you have the ability, if you're breaking down pallets, especially if you're breaking down a lot of pallets, I would definitely recommend getting a reciprocating saw if you don't already have one, because that made it so much easier. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just clean these up a bit, and then we're gonna I'm gonna get some of these pallets out of the way so we can actually lay out our 12 feet and see what we got going on here. So now that I have all of the pieces I believe that I'll need for this project, I've decided to settle on a bit of a middle ground. I'm going to do 18-inch tall beds, at least this first one, and then we'll kind of go from there and see what I like and see what I don't like about it. And so 18 inches, and so all I did, this is going to be the end pieces. The end pieces are going to be, I think this is 105 centimeters, I just did that for accuracy. And so that is a little over 41 inches. I would have liked to have done 4-foot beds, or 4 foot wide, but I just didn't have any that are wide enough to be able to do that. So that's why I ended up with this one. I just went with the widest boards that I could find. And so I have to do 2 sections that are this wide, and then the rest of them are going to be just whatever I have. All I did with these is I got them all to the same length, and I took one of the 2x4s, cut it in half, and then cut it at a bit of an angle. It's not an even angle, it just is an angle. And so that way I can kind of dig into the ground just a little bit. And so all I'm going to do with these is I'm just going to plunk these in. I'm going to make 4 sides, and then I'll bring you back. How about that? So it's only been maybe about a week or so since the last time that I brought you along for the pallet build, or the pallet bed build. I got the bed all built, and now I just am going to have to put it together today. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to put it together, but I'm going to bring you guys along and show you however I end up figuring out how to put it together. So I have all the pieces I'm going to show you here. Set it down about as far apart. So I have the 2 end pieces right here. The braces are here, all the screws and the nuts, and my new tools that I ended up buying for this dopey project. And then the side pieces my husband helped bring out yesterday because I knew he wasn't going to be here today, so he offered to help bring them out with me. So we brought them, and they're 12 feet long, roughly, a little over. Each section is 37 inches, but you know, just a hair over. I think I showed you guys last week, but I should bring it out here. I'm pretty sure that I showed you guys last week, but I wanted to show you guys again the tulip bulb bed. Tulip bulb bed. Tulip bulb bed. Say that 10 times fast. So you can see we have a tremendous amount of growth. And these are the daffodils, and these are the tulips, and they're definitely delayed for the area that I'm in. Where I actually got these from, they obviously still grow tulips, and theirs are already pretty much flowered by now. Mine are not. So I'm sure it's a combination. I'm 500 feet higher in elevation, and then also roughly 500, not exact, but and then also just getting them in the ground much later than they did. So they're still doing great, and I think they're still going to flower, and they're still going to bulb, if only whatever is traipsing through the bed there would stop. That'd be swell. So I'm just going to bring you along. I'm going to show you what I'm doing here, maybe, or I'll just show you my shoulder. So I'm going to bring in, my plan is to use this flat board here as a bit of a corner assembly station, I guess you would say. Like, I'm just going to, put it up here, build it upside down, on both sides here. And then hopefully that will give me a flat area that I can actually assemble the pieces and screw them all together. So this is not really a pallet garden bed assembly or build tutorial. It's more like I'm trying to figure this out. I'm going to show you, and then if I can actually figure it out and it looks cool and you guys want to, then I will come along and I'll show you guys kind of more of the step-by-step how I built it kind of thing. So we got one side screwed in. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one. This could be a huge bed. I'm so excited. It's not going to be plumb or square or any of those other carpentry terms you want to use, but it's going to hold soil, and that's all that matters, right? So the next step for doing this is going to be to brace them, and that's to basically just keep it from going, bowing too much. I have 2 braces for each post, so I'm going to put one on the bottom and then one on the top, and then once I have them braced, I'm going to try and get them like actually in place. So I'm just going to go ahead and screw all these pieces in and get a nice tight bed that's not going to bow, hopefully, or at least not bow too much. Okay, so now we finally have our 12-foot bed all built and roughly facing north-south. Roughly, I need to tweak that a little bit, and it is still upside down. I want to cover the inside of kind of the walls of this thing with plastic to keep it and make it so that it'll last longer. I haven't really decided if I'm going to do that or not, but there's also the whole nother job of actually filling this thing hugelkultur style, and so there's a lot left to do. So we're just going to make this a 2-parter. So now that we have demolished 4 pallets to build one 12-foot by 4-foot long raised bed, that's how I did it. And then next up is going to be just filling it up and planting the garlic, and that's probably going to be next weekend. Unfortunately, it's about 3 weekends later than I wanted it to be. I think we might not even end up getting anything out of it, but I'm still going to try because I have it. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you have not, and stay tuned for part 2 of building a hugelkultur raised bed out of pallets and wood that we have in the forest. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.